Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your, sadly, 13th and final Nancy Drew Season 3 episode review. Here we are, the end of the season, and this was by far, I think, the best episode that they've ever produced. Normally, for me, when I began Nancy Drew's always been your average show, an average CW show, if you want to even label it as that. I never thought it was amazing. Like, there wasn't like a definitive episode that like this is the greatest episode the show's ever made. I felt the show always had like moments of like they were shades of it, but they never really achieved what they could have done. And sometimes, like, with certain shows, like usually it's the pilot, or usually it's that one crucial episode in the first season that kind of sells it. The thing is that and this is not trying to besmirch the quality of CW shows. It's mostly that you have that moment where yeah, it's okay, and the ratings are fine, and as long as it's okay enough, you'll keep going. And this episode proved that 3 seasons of build up led to this. And I honestly was baffled at the start. I was thinking, oh my god, they're doing something different. This is what we're gonna go into. Like, my emotions, my thoughts, like, I actually had to think, and I'm like, this is all, like, this was, if I have to describe it, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but this felt like Breaking Dawn Part 2 meets No Way Home meets your average Season 3 finale. It combines all those elements where this felt like an ending to what the first 3 seasons of Nancy Drew have been, and I'm very hopeful we will get to see more of what they have to offer in Season 4, if we do get one. At the time of this recording, Season 4 has not yet been confirmed, nor has been renewed. All we know is that the Tom Swift spinoff is happening, but that's going to be its own independent thing. But beyond that, like, focusing on just this finale for a second, this was by far the best episode they ever produced. This is an amazing episode from start to finish. It keeps you literally on the edge of your seat for one of the rarest times I actually fainted on my couch. Well, I'm not fainted, more like I just collapsed on my couch because I was like surprised that they did this. And I made like a brief prediction like a few minutes before this moment happened, and it was like, I was like, wow, they went that far, and it worked. The whole format worked. And you're just left wondering what's going to happen next. Like, this is one of those things, like, I wish for the first time in my life this was a show that I was binging in the future, that Season 4 was available. I get to binge it right now, and it's not. We have to wait. And honestly, now you're just leaving to speculation and where things might go from here. And like, definitely, next week definitely will be the Season 4 predictions video, because I have so many ideas, so many directions for them to go into, and I want to talk about that. But before we get to anything about Season 4 speculations, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this finale to Nancy Drew. So immediately for me, I started off this episode thinking this was probably the fastest pace they were going, and I was thinking, like, am I really going to have to do a negative review for Nancy Drew? Because, like, they're just wrapping up so many things way too quickly. Like, so we're in the forest. Tempest is gathering the final ingredients for New Genesis to occur. Everyone's weirdly in, like, this weird, like, here's a setup. And I'm like, you know what? I'm totally okay with this, because Nancy Drew has always been somewhat of a unique card with their formatting. That it was like, we saw Ace broke into this hut beforehand. George is now Mr. Drew's right-hand woman, trying to like really like pull that pre-law power into the scene. And it was like they're actually a working team, and and Tempest is like, like, you guys look like the freaking cover, like the cover for like a very moody band album. I'm just like, they kind of do. They really do. But of course, obviously, they still have the cards in place. That Nancy still has all the rituals, all the hexes in the back of her neck. And they're aware that Ace has the final piece. And initially, like, I thought there were so many emotions going through my head as this episode was developing, where I thought that maybe it would be best if I felt like if we had maybe just gotten a couple more episodes to really hone in on a couple more relationships, just so that this episode can be more impactful. And then when you get into it, immediately from the get go, so they Temperance agrees to do a blood transfusion so that she can have Nancy's blood in her again, and as well as she will allow them to use the soul splitters so that they can get the part of Clarice's her daughter's soul out of her, so that Ace can live, so that the Copperhead doesn't kill him, and all that sorts. And apparently, this was all part of an elaborate ruse because when they're about to do the blood transfusion, Nancy takes a knockout donut and then the drugs inside of her body, and it's already in her blood, so that when she does the transfusion, it goes into Temperance's body and she gets knocked out for a little bit. So they successfully managed to be able to get the soul out of Ace's body into Temperance's body. They also, I guess, offhand got rid of the hexes as well from the children, out of Nancy as well. So for once, it feels like they won. And, like, okay, Copperhead's going to come in and kill Temperance because either they're going to kill each other, Temperance is going to die, or the Copperhead's going to die. So no matter what, it's a win-win for everyone. And it seems like that was going to be the case. I was like, that was the shortest freaking finale then. But no, they're leaving the woods. They're about to get out of there. And no, they find the Copperhead's body, which I'm thinking, like, they mentioned that Ryan's looking for a hatchet guy. And I was like, why does Ryan need to find a hatchet? Like, what does he collect relics? But then you get to, and I felt like, oh shit, are they gonna kill Ryan off screen? I'm like, dude, that would suck. But no, they don't. It turns out that Ryan, well, it wasn't Ryan, it was Copperhead. It was the Copperhead monster. It was killed by, we're presuming Temperance, or because since Temperance has the last, I really don't know what the reasoning was, but Temperance somehow kills Copperhead. So she has everything she needs for New Genesis. So she's ready to go. They just assisted her with accelerating her plan because not only does she have Nancy's blood, which was going to be a whole nother factor for her to get, they have the final heart, the Copperhead's dead. So it's like, at this point, she holds checkmate. So right now they have to figure out, okay, we need to stop her right now. And we got a weird scene where Ryan's at a couple's house and they're looking for, says like, y'all have a hatchet that was used to kill specific creatures back in the day. And they're like confused as hell, like, what are you talking about? And it was like slow, like, again, I really don't understand who these couple is, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be a big factor for season 4 if we do get one. But we get that one scene, then we come back to the town, it's like, okay, Temperance, if we fail, Temperance is gonna kill everyone. The whole town's destroyed. So we need to have everyone start to evacuate. So Mr. Drew and George start to pull all the stops to try and avert an emergency drill to get everyone out of the town, so that they again, that in case they do fail, they have the best chance to save everyone. But however, of course, obviously there's some loop back, there's some difficulties because again they don't want to do that because then they don't want to cause a panic because just in case, like, what if Nancy does succeed and they do the drill, like everyone's not going to trust the mayor, and like the mayor only trusts us. It's a long thing. I really don't get politics that much. Quickly enough, they already know where Temperance is, so they immediately meet her at the back of the youth center. And so it's Nancy, Ace, Ryan, and Bess. They're there. I don't even know what their plan was, because like again, this felt like for a brief a superhero fight scene where it's like Temperance is the villain and everyone else is the hero, but like everyone doesn't have powers. Like, all Temperance has is her magic, and that's it. She just blows some wind. Ryan does a cool hatchet throw, like in God of War, the 2018 game, and that was cool. She manages to deflect it, but a piece of the shrapnel goes inside of Ryan's neck. Eventually, at some point, like Nancy gets this superhero endurance and pushes Clarence. I don't know why I'm thinking Clarence. Pushes Temperance to the ground. They have a brief struggle. She's struggling to get the hard piece out of her hand, and she has the hatchet, and she's debating, like, should she kill Temperance? Like, this is something that Nancy's never had to be pushed to do before, because it's always been like the typical, like, I beat the bad guy somehow through the power of investigations, and then the police show up to arrest him at the same time. So she never had to do any of the violent stuff. This is a case where Nancy has to do something drastic, otherwise the whole town's destroyed, everyone's going to die. So she does the rational thing and kills her with a very simple jab mark with the hatchet, and it dusts her off. The ritual's over, everyone's saved, and so that was that. And it seemed like, yeah, that was an easy victory. I'm like, there's absolutely no way. Like, you cannot have this like build up throughout the entire season. Temperance outsmarting Bess and some of the others at every single turn. You cannot expect me to believe a hatchet, like a very half-assed hatchet job was going to kill her. But no, it actually was. That was it. So they're about to celebrate. They're about to have a little bit of, some drinks on the house. George, Mr. Drew and Ryan come in to join the celebration, and Ryan's feeling a little bit off. And Nancy and Ace are finally ready to have that talk. But shortly before they're about to leave, Ryan starts to feel very, very, very bad. And it turns out the shrapnel that impaled him in the neck earlier has lodged itself deeper into his neck. So he's starting to bleed out. He's starting to like really be in a lot of pain. And since this hatchet was magical, it has much more advanced properties. So he's in a really good amount of pain. They try calling the ambulance, and before I continue any further, like the start of the end of this scene, and then going for the rest of the episode, this was by far Kennedy McMahon's best episode yet. I feel she goes 100% because this is the conclusion of one act of her journey. This is the end of one part of her story, and she goes all out. It feels like a series finale at times, and you just feel that in the performance, not just by her, but everyone in the cast. Like, this felt like an ending. And just hearing her say "dad" to Ryan finally, and like actually having her cry, because like remember the Nancy at the start of season 1 wouldn't even give a two shits about Ryan. Now 2.5 seasons in, 3 seasons fully, she cares for him, loves him like a father figure. And when we get that time jump, and at first it was like very confused, like, did Ryan die? Is he in a coma? Because she has the shrapnel piece, so you just assume that they got it out, but like, did he live or not? But no, it turns out, yeah, he did die, and there's a lot of, will stuff, estate stuff that's still up in the air, since, of course, Ryan never did the proper paperwork to have a proper transfer of power, and with the Hudson estate, um, with the Hudson estate, with the Hudson estate being the way it is, like, I'm pretty sure there's like no system, so it's like, yeah, he died, we're just gonna give these properties away, as like, county property, let's just say. And Nancy's trying to find her car, and she's trying to like investigate this further, and Mr. Juice is pointing it out. It's like, you're only doing this because you're in grief that you couldn't save him, and you just got to let it go. And Ace has been coming by the house every day to drop off sorbet for her to eat, as like a sign of like, I'm sorry, and hopefully you'll feel better. And she's just not eating it because she's just really generally not in the mood. But she gets a call from Park that he's got some news for her, and they want to meet in person. So they organize a meeting at the Claw, and we get a little bit of a life update on everyone else. Since a month in Nancy Drew time, a lot can happen, and yeah, a lot has happened in a month. George is enrolling herself into the community college to take some poli-sci class, and to also begin her career to become a lawyer under Mr. Drew's advisement, which is great. Bess got an offership to be the new keeper for the Historic Society, which I'm like, oh, again, I thought like you were just going to put in a whole new character to add the dynamic change for season 4, but no, she was selected by Hannah because for some reason, I guess her magical background was a factor. But Bess declined, since, Bess, since they saved the town, she's taken part of like what really means to her. Like, she wants to get away from the supernatural side and just live a normal life for once. And that's respectful. That's perfectly okay. Nick and George are kind of like on decent terms. They're not 100% there yet, but Nick is ready to move on, start to get himself better. He's going down to Florida for a while to help himself to mentally heal, to be back with his family for a while, and he's getting his possessions and ready to get everything back into order. And one of the crucial things that I note of it is that yeah, Ace is feeling a little bit withdrawn. Not that. I apologize. No, Park enters the picture. I'm jumping. I'm thinking of the other scene. I apologize. Park meets with Nancy, and Nancy assumes this is kind of news about Ryan's car, and maybe some leads on who may have gotten this hatchet from, and all that sorts. And it turns out not to be the case. It just turns out Park is, like I said in the last episode, he's transferring back to Boston. The Frozen Heart Killer is officially, the case is over, so he has no reason to be in Horseshoe Bay anymore. They're not paying for his hotel room anymore. So, like, yeah, it's time for him to report back to Boston, to get back to work, and, that's it, because he and Nancy already left it off as, like, we're just going to be friends, and that's perfectly fine for them. And, she's just like, well, Boston's not that far, so if we ever need your help, or if we ever need a reference, we know where to call you, or it's not a big drive. Ace enters in. They have their moment. They walk through town. Ace is trying to improve Nancy's depression over Ryan's death. They're saying, like, this is what you saved. Like, you saved the whole town. Everyone loves you because you saved them, and you should not feel down. Yeah, Ryan dying, it's a very big deal. You can't excuse that, but don't let that fully destroy you. And then they finally have the talk, which was a very short talk, just led to Ace's bedroom in the middle of, I don't know if she's still at the parents' house or at, I don't know where he is, but they finally do it. They finally have that moment of intimacy, and they finally coincide their romance. And I'm like, finally, that, like, they both got what they wanted. And they're, like, already into happy couple mode. Like, they're already sliding into, not to each other's DM, but, like, they're just sliding into the roles very comfortably. Already doing, like, the breakfast after, in bed motif, and she's about to go get bagels, which I don't see any cream cheese on there. So I'm like, I better go back for that cream cheese. But before she goes any further, she finds Ryan's car being towed away suddenly. So she bribes the tow truck driver to, like, who got this car? Who's the new owner? I'll give you all these bagels, and it worked. And I'm like, to be honest, I have one of my best friends. Her dad works at a bagel shop, and I kid you not, those bagels freaking slap. I'm just saying that they were amazing the last time I had them. I need more of those bagels. So we're at the youth center. That kind of subsided. We're all just celebrating, just having, like, this is the victory party they were asking for, and and also Nick's goodbye party for now, and everyone's happy. Everyone's excited for what's next for all of them. That they're all moving on and they're all happy supposedly. And Nancy and Ace decided to go off to go investigate that couple that Ryan visited before his death, just to kind of cross some more T's and I's. And they're like, I was thinking like, is this gonna be season 4, just like Nancy and Ace being like this detective solving couple? And I was like, I was down for it. And then all of a sudden they get hit by a car, so I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, they're really doing, like, all these sudden changes in, like, one episode. Like, I can't keep track of it. Like, they're just really rushing this episode to, like, be like this emotional, tragic tale. But I do not know what happened to my camera. That was weird. Moving on. Am I recording? So we are recording. Okay, just making sure. Yes. I do not know what's happening with this camera. Okay, that should have worked. I hope nothing else happens. Moving on. The dust settles. Nancy's in the car, but Ace is gone. He gets thrown out of the passenger side. He's dead instant on arrival, and the other driver of the other car reveals to be Temperance, which I'm like, the fuck, you died. Turns out no. So like I said before, like a few seconds before this car crash happened, like, this is all too much like a mirage. Like, this is all being subvertly planted in Nancy's head. And I was right. No, this entire thing was just kind of like a what if motif in Nancy's head that Temperance planted in her, so that in the event that Nancy's about to kill Temperance, she would have this vision of, like, this is what your life would be like if you kill me in that moment. And point is proven, and it's like, I let you live an entire month in this what if reality, only for the curtain to be pulled under you, saying, like, you still have a chance. Like, you can prevent all this if you don't kill me. Just let the town die. Just let me get my daughter back. You and Ace can have a happy life. And when Nancy's like, no, I just want to kill you more now for making me suffer through all this. And she's like, you know what, fine. I'm going to do one more thing to fuck you over. I'm going to leave a a massive curse on you. If you ever confess your feelings to Ace, he will instantly die. I don't know how. It will just depend on the moment, but he will die as soon as you tell him. You will never have a chance to experience a full romantic love story with him, which I'm like, that is the biggest fuck you that a villain can ever do to a hero. And so we cut back to the night of the night of Near Genesis happening. Nancy's at the hatchet point. She's about to kill Temperance, but she's thinking of like that the alternate reality she was in. And she's still struggling, like, should I kill her? Should I not? Ryan's supporting her. Ace and Bess are supporting her as well. But she knows, like, she does not want Ace to die. She doesn't want the town to die. But she also cares about Ace so much. And her friends are like, I can't do this. She just drops the hatchet. She tells everyone, we need to run right now. Get the hell out of here. Temperance finishes the ritual. The town starts to rise in sea level form. This honestly, this scene felt like a scene from a movie. Like, I will give them, like, the cinematography in this scene, like, it felt like the end, like they were all about to die. And thankfully Nick led the charge, the alarm, the escape sirens alarm, so they're running. And I don't know why I have a bump in my head. I gotta go down. Not really a bump, but back to it. The sirens alarm, and they're just running for dear life right now. Nancy and Bess is like, this is only the beginning. Like, this water typhoon, it is just the beginning of the travesties that's about to happen. And Nancy's like, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry, Ace. I was doing it for us. And Ace is like, just sort of confused, like, what do you mean for us? So Nancy goes back. She heads back to the abyss, and she finishes the job. She kills Temperance, regardless of the actions that's about to happen. And yeah, so because of that moment change, like, Nancy will not live in the timeline she lived in, but the only thing that's holding her down now is that there is a curse hex, the last piece of Temperance on Earth, that will only be activated when, if ever, Nancy tells Ace the truth about anything. And that's okay. Yeah, so that's what happens. Also, as a quick finisher upper, Nancy takes Ryan straight to the claw. She pulls out the shrapnel piece before it goes any further, slaps him with like an alcohol cloth, and yeah, that's it. That. She kind of ties up all the loose ends there, and everyone seems to be fine. Everyone's rushing in back in the claw to kind of like begin, yeah, even though they saved the town, it was still bad. They still got hit hard with the waterfront. So they're getting everyone that was, hit closer to Main Street. They're getting them some food, some shelter, some stuff to keep them going for a while they're trying to figure out this, trying to get things sorted out. And I think then we get to like a proper month time jump where things are different now. As a comparison, Nancy and Ryan figure out the estate will, just in case of the event of Ryan's death, all his remaining assets will go to Nancy directly. We cut back to the claw. George is, Mr. Drew says that, George came by earlier to drop off all the pre-law textbooks that Mr. Drew left for her last month. And she's like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm going to do something else with my life, and it's not law, because when push comes to shove, the law didn't help me there. It kind of made me want to just get into action. So she's kind of exploring a different career path right now. Let's just say that. Bess gets the offership to be the new keeper of the Historic Society, and this time she says yes, since it's the reverse thing. It's just like they chose a different thing in the Mirage timeline, we'll say. And so this was kind of like them going reverse. Nick was about to go to Florida for a while, but his parents decided to come visit him instead for about a month. So they'll be staying for a while, and then once they're ready to leave, Nick will be joining alongside them too. But however, Nick is also like, I still gotta stay in town because I gotta find a new dishwasher because Ace quit. He gave his notice today, and Nancy's just assuming that Ace is skipping town. I gotta find a way to stop him. I gotta risk everything just so that he doesn't leave. But no, he's not leaving town. He's just, if you guys remember, like, a couple of episodes ago, he got that offer to try and apply at the morgue to be, I forgot what the role was, but he got a job offer there. He still had to do an interview, but, he fixed it up and he got it. And yeah, he's about to start. He's about to move into a new apartment. He's about to really start a new life, basically. And, and also, like, Nancy not being around him for a month kind of hurt him. He just felt like, I don't know what I did wrong. What's up with us? And he just was like ready to like pull the trigger to like, start a new opportunity, start a new chance. And so I want to say, yeah, so Nancy is trying all her might to tell him the truth, to confess, to kiss, to have that moment of recognition of their true feelings for each other. But when Nancy is about to kiss him and she sees his barometer breaking and she's like, "It's happening again. He's gonna die." It sucks, but she pulls away at the last minute. It's like, "I can't do this. Like, I never had feelings for you. Just look at me and just accept. I will never have romantic feelings for you." But in reality, and again, this is just a testament to how much of a great actress that Kennedy is you see her emotional pain in that line where she really wanted to tell him the truth and she couldn't. And it hurts her to death. And again, I'm not trying to like spoil No Way Home here, but like that reminds me of the ending where like you're so close to having what you want, but to keep the best interest of them in heart, you have to make that sacrifice. That it really sucks in the moment, but that's just the cost of doing what you're doing to help the most out. But at the end, you sacrifice what you want, and it sucks. It really does suck. As kind of like a moment of like this was like again another moment of like new beginnings. We go back to Tempest's castle, and I'm just like, why are we back here? It turns out Nancy has decided to get this place to be her her new base of operations for the Nancy Drew investigation, which I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I never read the novels, but I'm like, this is just we're finally getting classic Nancy, and well, elements of classic Nancy finally coming through. And Mr. Drew's about to head off on a romantic weekend with his girlfriend, and before he goes, she kind of breaks down to him and kind of tells him that yeah, everyone's safe. Like the town is still safe and sound, but I had to give up so much of myself. Like I basically lost majority of my ability to be myself or to choose my life because I am trying to do the best I can so that everyone close to me can stay alive. And as a cause, she can never be with the man she loves. And how does it feel to not be with your soulmate? Which I'm okay, Nancy, relax. You're only 19 years old. I mean, no offense, but relax. It's very highly improbable for you to meet your soulmate that young. You could be lucky, but okay, for the sake of the TV show, yeah, okay, fine, we'll admit that. But she asked her Carson, how did you feel on dating again after mom, because you always said she was your soulmate. And Mr. Drew's like, yeah, she is and always will be my true love, my soulmate, but life goes on and it's possible to live a happy life like that. I always akin the scene to Arrow back in season 4 where original Laurel, before we got Earth 2 Laurel, joins in halfway through the run. When we got that scene where Laurel saying goodbye to Oliver, the thing that hit her was like, for Laurel, Oliver was always her soulmate, but for Oliver, she never was. It was always Felicity. I kind of compare that to the scene because Mr. Drew knows in his heart that his soulmate is Nancy's mom, but he's gonna love his new girlfriend, and if they do get married, if they have kids, like yeah, he's gonna love her, obviously, but it won't be his soulmate. For her, it will be. Maybe her soulmate, but for him, it's not. It's just like I found happiness again, but she'll never replace her. That's kind of what she's saying. Like Nancy could live a life without Ace being that romantic partner again for her, or ever will be. And it's possible that you find your soulmate, but you know that it just cannot be for whatever reason. And again, I know they're keeping things open ended. There probably is going to be a loophole to 10% thing at some point down the line, most likely, and we will have that moment. But right now, there just isn't. He heads out, and Nancy's about to begin her new beginning, and she finds some of the playing cards that Tempest had from earlier in the season, and she gives her final eerie prediction that and I'm just I don't really like these predictions that much. I'll say that much. It kind of gives you it kind of keeps you in the narrow end a little bit of what could happen, where we again checking in on everyone's life. Like Ace is about to begin his new career. He's about to begin his new thing, but he lost his heart along the way. It's hinted that Bess, being the keeper of the Historic Society, is going to bring upon an even bigger casualty to the town. Ryan being involved with that couple, which again, I really don't know who the hell this couple is. They seem like to be the next villains for the next season. That's what I'm assuming. But now Ryan's invested in them somehow for the Hatchet incident. George is no. This is the confusing scene. Like Nick is about to like get the stone, like the pavement crack that Tempers caused to get repaired. It's like, oh, I just came in for some money, which I'm like, aren't you already rich, my dude? And apparently he sold the ring that he was gonna get to George, which indicates that like there's a part of him that still thinks that yeah, me and George are never gonna get married, and that ring that was meant for her is not gonna happen. And George looks at that ring as kind of like as a betrayal that like their promise of like yeah we're gonna be there at the end for each other. So it's a confusing thing. I'll probably explain this next week. George is about to begin some new career trajectory for herself. Somehow still taking community college classes, I believe. And yeah, Nancy is regardless doesn't believe that any of this is gonna happen. It's like it's just a game. It's not gonna happen. She rips up the cards as like a sign of like I don't believe this shit at all. And she gets a phone call, and it's supposedly her first case. It's like, meet me in the cemetery at 10 o'clock, which I'm like, who's going to meet you at a creepy-ass cemetery at 10 o'clock? I mean, my dude. But, yeah, she goes in, and she finds herself surrounded with a bunch of empty gravestones, a lot of empty plots, and she finds out, well, she asks, where are the bodies? Which indicates, like, there's a new mystery. But it's sort of like that mystery where it's like you kind of are just left wonder like what is going to happen next, because like we've always had that like this sort of like the big connection thread throughout the seasons. This doesn't feel like a big connection thread. It felt like more of like this could be an average mystery, this could be a bigger mystery, we just don't know, and we won't find out until hopefully next time. But for right now, this was the end for the third season of Nancy Drew. Like I said at the top, this was by far the best episode of the series. It's not perfect, it is, but by far it is amazing. It definitely, every minute mattered, every moment keeps you guessing, and every moment makes you wonder what's going to happen next. And just the vibes I got of like, this was definitely an end, but a beginning. And definitely it just throws away everything that all my what was I thinking the whole show was going to be, but it isn't. It's allowing itself to reinvent. It's allowing itself to explore a new direction. Will we get another time jump? Will we just immediately do the Nancy Drew timeline again, where it's like, yeah, we're like literally every episode's like a day, it's not a week? Will we get that? I don't know. I really can't tell you for sure. All I can tell you is that there is just so much open here that Tempest made her mark. Like as the first human antagonist, she definitely left her mark in a bigger way than any of the other spiritual ones have ever have. And it leaves you wondering what is going to be next. What is going to be the next big thing for them to deal with the next? Because it seems like they're still friends. They're all together, but there's a sense of like separation that like, is also a part of growing up. They're all still 19, 20-year-olds. Like they're still growing up. There's going to be moments where like they're going to have this moment, but they're going to come back together at some point. But the question is when and how, as they explore these new aspects of their life. And they definitely frame those final scenes as like, yeah, we are teasing a bigger prophecy, but we get what we see as like, maybe if we don't come back, we told this story of what a hero has to accomplish and sacrifice to do the best they can. And I think they achieved it on all those fronts. And I cannot wait to see whenever we do get a fourth season. Hopefully we will. I want to see a fourth season, and I want to see them continue the story and like finish up this thread, because there's just so much more to tell in this universe. There's so much stories to tell with Nancy. This is only just the beginning of a new chapter in her life, and I want to see it through. Hopefully we will. But for this episode, it was by far amazing. It was by far the best episode of the series yet, and it just leaves you wanting more, and it makes you want that season 4 to happen sooner than later, whatever that is. With that being said, I give this episode 2 thumbs up. Of course, it's the highest praise you can give an episode right now. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this finale to Nancy Drew? And let me know in the comments. I want to have a discussion with you. I want to talk. So with that being said, I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, we have reviewed every episode in the 3rd season of Nancy Drew. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the Two besides our Nancy Drew reviews, we're currently doing Walker Season 2 episode reviews and the Rookie Season 4 episode reviews each and every week after a brand new episode on the CW and ABC, respectfully. If you only care about Nancy Drew, even though that this is in the end This is the end of our season 3 episode reviews week to week. We're not done yet with this run of Nancy Drew content. We'll be back next week with our season 4 predictions video, where I'm going to be talking about everything I want to see in season 4. What is the likelihood of us getting a 4th season? Just getting into all the nitty gritty details that you want to know about. That'll be coming out next time. And then afterwards, you'll get the season 3 review, non-spoiler edition for all the people who have yet to watch the 3rd season. That will be on CW streaming on the CW.com, and also on HBO Max in the distant future. But for now, this is the end of the week-to-week reviews. So if you've only been joining me for the week-to-week reviews, thank you so much for watching these past 13 episode reviews. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to do this all over again for a 4th round, hopefully in the near future, but we'll see how life goes. We'll see how things go. But as always, thank you so much for the support. Thank you very much. But again, this has been What's Up 2 from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next review is live. Please also like, favorite, share this review if you want to. Please also follow the social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for the channel. But until then, for all you members of the Drew Crew, thank you so much for another amazing season with me. Thank you so much. I can't wait. I hope that we'll get to do this again. But regardless, until then, until that moment comes, until we see each other again, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next couple of weeks for my extra bonus content. Otherwise, again, we're going to be doing a season 1 spoiler review in the future before season 4 comes out, or just next September or October, whatever comes first. But until then, please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.